Hello, good morning, afternoon or evening. Welcome back to another video. As usual, I try to keep these videos short and easy to follow. Today is just going to be a ABS sensor replacement because obviously I had the ABS light come up onto the dash. I scanned it and it's shown me as the front left, so the near side front ABS sensor. So I'm just going to get straight into it. Just a reminder, make sure when your lug nuts or wheel nuts, they're not seized, because I tried to take one off. That's a 19mm and it's yeah, so that's what that's done to one of them. So found another one, a longer one. This is just a note. And I used a long leverage bar. So when you get it loose, obviously it's not every car is going to be the same, but when you get it loose, it's going to sound like either the spanner's cracking or the part, but it will just be fine. I got it loose and thankfully I can just take it off all the way. But what I'm doing now is I've got an air jack. If you haven't got an air jack handy, then a scissor jack on the jacking point will do just fine. I'm gonna put this in an area where there's a solid surface. So I can't really find a solid jacking point, flat part of the body. So I'm just going to position it under the original jacking point. I'm just using the air jack just to make things easier and quicker. So now that's up. We left it in gear so it's not freely spinning. The 19mm. And just undo these one at a time. It's not actually the bolt that rusted, it's the part. It's got a bit of moisture on it, so when I say part, I mean obviously the attachment. Okay. Just a little bit of persuasion. I can feel it almost off. There you go. And what I'm going to do, just for safety, I was thinking just move it away, but what I do is actually place it underneath. So if that gives in, at least it'll come back onto the wheel. And I don't care, I've got the wheel ready. So yeah, now there's just a bunch of screws and stuff that you need to take off, because what you're doing, you're taking off the inner arch liner, because the ABS cable is feeding up into there and it's sat behind this arch liner, so I can't really get into it. So yeah, just undoing a few screws here and there shouldn't be able to get you it. Just so you know what I'm talking about, there's 1, 2, I believe that's the third. Then there's a clip here which probably needs replacing anyway. I think that's another clip. There's another clip there. That's also a clip, I believe. But yeah, so that clip. When I say clip, it's like, the automated studs. And then I believe it's 2 screws. So there's the first, if this focuses. So that's the first, and there's one on the edge here as well. So that's what I can see. So I'm going to start undoing them, and I hope this goes well. What I've also done, I picked up one of these, or a set actually, of the trim removals, because it's going to make my life that much easier. I open it correctly. So like something like that. That was loose anyway, but on the other side, without losing it, rather than having to faff about getting a screwdriver in there and whatnot. There's that. Rather large clip. Yeah, one other thing, just keep track of where, what clips belong to where. If you don't know, then just take a photo of the before. So these massive ones, because they've got no grip on them, they're stubborn to come out. So that's those ones. I know it seemed like a 5-minute job, but just these kind of tools, they just make it that much easier. Because with these big ones, I think it would take a bit of faffing with a screwdriver. Not only with the screwdriver, just having to run around looking for one, things like that. So if I get the right screwdriver bit here, start removing these screws. And what I kind of tend to do is keep the screws in line with what I say, in line with where they are. This one, that's got dirt filling the hole, so I don't want to go in. So some of these, if you haven't altered or taken off at all, then they become a bit seized. I believe that's the last one. So I'm gonna carefully try to take this out without damaging it or cutting myself. The car body itself is sharp. So let's see. Okay, so now you have one thing or another. Okay, there you go. That doesn't want to cooperate, is what I was going to say. But here we are. Okay. So, put the torch on here. ABS sensor goes from the wheel, travels up, sits on a holding there, comes back around, sits on another holding there, goes back up, sits on yet another holding there, feeds through onto this clip. Then there's this little zip tied fixing, which is already on the new wire, and then it curls back around here. Now this should be sitting in here in this white clip. I'm not sure why it's not, but we'll fix that when we get to it. So what I'm going to do, phone's going on the caliper here, if it wants to focus. That presses down and that releases. It's released, but it's the age, the dust and everything that's holding it. There you go. Then comes this. This should just pop out. Came in handy. And then that obviously unclips from there. Then this pushes off, just like that. Then I'll just need to remember for myself, this is going under the brake line. But anyway, that pulls forward and unclips from there. Up and over, then it comes off of there. I'm trying not to cut myself while I'm doing this. There you go, it's at the end. There you go. And then this is where you need to be careful, but I think it just, one second, should just wiggle off. There you go. it did indeed just wiggle off. So that goes. So okay, so when when I bring the new one, I'm gonna have to feed it this way over the cable, and obviously attach those two. It will just make my life easier. This I got off eBay for a set of two for £35, or no, sorry, £28, because one was gonna cost me about 20 quid, so you might as well get both for the extra 8. And the reason I'm only doing the one is because it's, so there's the new one, nice and shiny. So I'll take this out. Yeah, so the reason I'm doing one is because, I mean, I'm trying to look online if you should or shouldn't replace both pairs. And what he was saying, just replace the one that you need to. If the other one fails, then you can just replace that whenever it goes. Which kind of makes sense anyway, because the fault code, what it's reading for the front left. So I don't know if that will mess up with the computers, and then I'll just be wasting my time. So anyway, here's the new one. I don't know if I should have cleaned the contact. So I was trying to figure out how this went by, so I just went back to review the footage, and the notch bit is on the top and the white bit is at the bottom. Also, another thing, you can see the cables traveling upwards, so that will just clip in. There you go. So if you don't know how that works, there's a little splitter in between, as in on part of the contact point. The black bit goes on the top and the white bit goes on the bottom. So you'll see there's a little like middle split section, and you will feel it go to the end and connect, but I was just being extra careful so I don't have to take anything off after it goes back. So that's in. This clips back onto there, and take it all the way to the back. It's not coming off. There you go. And up and over. I mean, you know, the design is pretty much as it was anyway. So that bit goes onto there. Sorry if you don't know what I mean by as it was, because it just sounded random. What I mean is how it was set up before I took it off. I think this was the stubborn one when it was coming off anyway. There you go. So if you have time, if you have like a wire brush or just some sort of light sandpaper, it will all help. But I'm just trying to get it done and out of the way because I need to use the car. So that's in. Now this will come back up, clip onto there. And this piece of cable clips into there. If it doesn't want to be a pain. So that bit clips into there. There you go. Sits nice and snug. I'm going to try to get this to show the top. So you had that cable clip that you pulled out before. That needs to sit back in there. It just pushes in if it doesn't want to take my glove with it. And then this is where this should be sat in here, so it's not wiggling about, but it came off. And really it's supposed to have some sort of tension to it. But anyway, the reason I paused, obviously this has a clip, hasn't it? And that goes into the top of the body. You'll see it. But I'll connect it first and see if it makes a difference. If not, I'll clip it in first forehand, so it makes it easier. So that goes into there, and that I will actually clip it back up, make life easier for me. Yeah, I mean it can all, I mean there's a few points where it can clip in, but yeah, that's fine, that's fine. So yeah, all new wiring is done. Hoping that should be out the way. Arch line is going to cover most of this. So yeah, now the new one's in. That actual sensor, we'll just double check it. Obviously that's the old sensor, all pretty much done, I would say. So yeah, that had a clip but it's broken. I believe that's the part number, if you're looking, 47910 AX610. But I'll also link this this sensor in the, I'll either pop it up screen now or put it in the description. But let's set this back down. And now, without damaging the cables or anything, feed it behind the cables up to the body. And in and behind where it needs to be, such as here. I mean, once you'll get it in place, it will be much easier. Clip back in. So what I didn't do was check the bottom properly. Now that the bottom's in properly, should be able to screw these back in without having to faff. Okay, the 3 screws there, I'll put them in now. 3 screws is 1 here. So I'll start with the middle, so it just kind of centers itself. And I'll do the skirts after I lower it down. If you have time, obviously, go through and make sure it's all nice and smooth. Wire brush, light sandpaper, anything. And that's why you need an axle nut in there. Someone hasn't put an axle nut, whoever's done the brakes or wheel bearing that I've had done before. I'm only realizing this now. So that's another thing. Make sure Your brake disc bolts are in there. I'm not surprised. Fully spins and covers the axle. We're on. Just gonna put my foot there, keep it held. At least get one in there so that it's not spinning about. Just get a second on the bottom too. And then I'll have to do have a torque wrench, just making these tight enough so that when they come down it's just easier to torque up. Now we can lower it back down, but remember, we've still got these two screws that we need to put back into the skirt. So, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So, I hope the video helped. Hope it wasn't too long or too confusing. Without faffing about, I'd say what, 15-minute job at max. Obviously, I'm having to set up camera angles and everything, so just a little bit of faffing about with the jack, with trial and error. You know, now that you know, you're not gonna get that wrong. So, hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, then subscription will be helpful. That's the old one, you can just discard that. And thanks for watching.